a second chance in the game.
Guys, again, thank you so much for having me. My name is Tim Rulo, head football coach at Chillicothe High School. Thank you to Chief Pigskin for letting me have an opportunity to talk about a very near and dear topic to my heart, and that is just kind of the passing game and a run-oriented offense. I think I love running the football, and you're going to see, if you know anything about me, I love that piece, but just trying to show you that there is ways that you can throw the football and throw it effectively in run-oriented offenses. So, again, kind of the theme is how to spread the ball around the field, and I think that's the key when you are going and having just this opportunity to run the ball. You've got to figure out where to take your shots around the field, right, that's going to allow you to kind of pick on what the defense is giving up to try to stop the run. So let's get started. Big thing here, is why is there the need to throw the ball, right? Well, ultimately, let's be honest. If you are doing a great job running the football and you are just chewing up yards, don't throw the ball, right? I've seen so many great coaches who they get inside the red zone or they get past the 50, all of a sudden they feel like they got to throw it and they change what they're doing. Stick with what's working, right? Typically your run-oriented offense is a multi-down offense, right? So it has an ability to be able to just chew up yards, whether that's 3 yards in a cloud of dust, whatever. So stick with that. But eventually teams are going to load the box. And if you are struggling because they have just so many guys, so many hats down in the box, you've got to make that decision and that determination. When are you going to throw it and where are you going to throw it? I think also you got to take advantage of the one-on-one coverage that teams are going to give you on the perimeter. Most of the time, even if you have a too high safety shell, they're still going to give you kind of some type of one-on-one look on the perimeter because those safeties are up there because either they're going to do some type of rotation or they're going to be, one of them at least is going to be screaming down to help stop the run while the other one's kind of playing center field over the top. I think, again, with that, you've got to take advantage, right, of those over-aggressive safety force players. Again, it is just so hard for a young man, a high school player, to sit there and be told by his coach, hey, don't get beat deep. Hey, you need to come up and provide run support, alley run support. Don't let him get outside of you, right? Go take care of this responsibility and whether it's a sweep or an option on the pitch or a waggle, or excuse me, a buck sweep, whatever, they've got to figure out something there. And so you put him in a lot of things. Now all of a sudden he's got to remember he's got to cover the flat, or he's got to get his eyes to this guy so the guy doesn't run by him. The other thing is you have playmakers hopefully on the perimeter, right? For me, I'm a flex bone guy, so you're going to see this more from a flex bone perspective. But typically you're going to have a wide receiver out there who might be able to make a play. I mean, maybe he can't, maybe just a glorified tackle out there. But in the end, if you have a playmaker, getting him an opportunity to get the football, to get a touch, just to spread the field a little bit is important. And for me, if I have a quality receiver, I'm going to look to say, hey, how can I get that guy 2 or 3 touches a game, or at least attempts to get him the ball when I can. The other thing people always kind of want to know, we don't always think about, is when do you actually call a pass play in a game? I think the biggest thing is you need to have a coach, whether they're in the booth, down in the field, wherever, that's kind of watching the secondary to see when that shot can be called, right? Sometimes you can get instantaneous feedback, right? Like I say here, when the secondary players are making tackles on plays and you're only gaining 3 or less yards, like that's probably telling you. But just sometimes, because maybe just the way they're rotating their secondary, kind of what they're giving up based on alignment, and just having a coach that can sit there and say, hey, man, we need to be able to take advantage of backside hook to curl. We need to take advantage of the backside flat. We need to take carriage of the seam, whatever. That's going to help you. And having a coach just with his eyes trained on that, I typically use a wide receiver coach for that. But again, having someone who can give you that feedback so you can say, hey, I need a pass play ready. What should it be? They can tell you. I think another thing is, man, don't be afraid to take advantage of throwing on first down. Especially, man, if you're in 4-down territory or you feel like you can run the ball and gain those yards, that's an opportunity for you to change things up. Now, again, you got to be smart with this. I mean, if you're running the ball well, run the ball. But again, if you know you're in 4-down territory, don't be afraid to do it. I also like to take that shot sometimes after turnovers. When we get the ball, man, on the opponent's side of the 50 and we're going in to score, man, we just got the ball. There's a lot of momentum there. I like to take a shot sometimes with that. So, again, just be aware, know that, but even have that figured out beforehand. Man, when do we want to look at passing, right? When do we want to look at possibly throwing the ball is so important as you're trying to figure out how to spread the ball around the field and when you're running a run-oriented offense. Some keys here to just an efficient play-action passing game. One, you got to be able to pass block it. You know, When I was young and early on in my coaching, I was an O-line coach, and I was like, oh man, all these plays look great on paper. But it wasn't until we had to block those plays, especially those pass plays with all those great routes on that napkin that I was drawing, man, how do you pass block that? So you've got to figure it out. You have to figure out a very efficient, right, pass blocking scheme that's not going to be really time consuming, because you're not going to have a lot of time to spend to sit there and work on your pass blocking sets, right? You're not going to be doing a lot of kick slides and hard posts all day to really work on that. Instead, you've got to figure out what can be efficient and how can we pass block things effectively. I think another great thing is your play, your pass play must look and feel like a run play. I had a great coach, a mentor of mine say, man, play action pass has to look like a run, has to, feel like a run, has to smell like a run, right? It just has to be like a run. And there are some little nuances that are huge on that. One, low helmet and pad level by the O-line, right? They've got to come firing off the ball. We'll show you some of that stuff, especially on the front side of the play. They really need to look like that. Again, because it's so important that we understand that if that's a key, man, we always tell those defenders, right, that high hat, man, but again, don't give them a high hat then. Next, the sinking of the hips by the quarterback during the mesh or fake handoff. There has to be a sinking of the hips. Again, from us, I'm going to show you a lot of stuff off of inside veer, but again, there has to be a way that there's that sinking of the hips that's riding it. Now, as you look at this film, these quarterbacks aren't going to do a great job of it, because it is, I think, one of the hardest things, because that quarterback wants to get back in the back of his pass drop as soon as possible. Right? He does not want to sit there and ride that mesh. But if you can get quarterbacks to really trust that, or really trust as they're carrying out some kind of fake, to really just sell it for one more second, I think you'll really find that the guys are even more open and you can complete more passes. Also, there needs to be great carrying out of fakes by running backs. You and I know sometimes that those running backs, they'll carry out the fake and then they'll just stop. And it doesn't, and it's easy, right? It's easy to give that up. And I know as a linebacker, when I played at the high school and college level, it was easy to see that, right? I could easily tell, man, if that running back wasn't running hard, that there's something was up on that. I think the other thing, just the key to efficient play action passing game, is you have to have specific passing concepts to take advantage of areas left open by the defense. Some ones that I see a lot is the play side flat. Again, if you're asking that force defender, that outside linebacker, overhang player, whatever you want to call him, if he is not supposed to let anyone get outside of you, but also stop the run, the play side flat is open. It's hard sometimes to get the ball out there, but again, that's an easy one to be able to take advantage of. Play side seam, all right, or play side fade, both of those, right, whether you're hitting that, because you got a safety screaming down, or you got a corner who's just kind of getting nosy and sticking his nose in there, being able to attack that. Then you got also the backside flat, right, is huge. All right, I've also thrown the backside fade as well. And then finally, backside hook to curl. Kind of that space that you'll see sometimes if you have a rotating secondary, you have safeties that are spinning, they leave a spot there that you can run a backside dig on, and I'll show you a clip of that as well. But again, you just have those different areas, but have specific concepts, practice those concepts so you are ready to go, and making sure you know how to hit those areas of the field that are left open when that defense is overplaying the run. I think the next thing, as you're looking at this, is how to practice that. And there are kind of three ways that we've decided to do that, right? Because you don't want to give up that time for your run offense and what you're doing there. One, perimeter run pass time. So we don't do 7-on-7 anymore because, again, we don't throw the ball enough. So what we do is do perimeter run and pass. This is a time that we only work on either perimeter blocking, right? So for our outside run plays for us, like the rocket or the jet sweep. Also then how we're going to perimeter block even on inside veer when we might pitch the ball and we get out to that pitch phase of that. But at the same time, we're also then, because like it says here at the bottom, right, pass routes must mirror your perimeter blocking schemes. So during that time, right, we're also going to run some of our play action pass because it should mirror that up. And so this is a period, maybe we only do it once a week, maybe a 10-15 minute period. But again, it's an opportunity for us to work on our perimeter blocking, but also at throwing some pass plays. A live pup time, this is one that I've had a great O-line coach, he loves doing, and I think it's good too, right? We're in about just 10 minutes, maybe one time a week, we're just going to go live. We're going to pass under pressure. So the defense is bringing it, right? They're going to blitz, they're going to stunt, they're going to do all kinds of crazy stuff. They're going to be super aggressive, and we're going to pass the ball, 75, 80% of the time. We might throw in a run there just to keep them a little honest. But again, we're just going to really make sure the offensive line and time that up with the backs, with the quarterback, with the receivers, and how that looks. And I've got some clips of that. And then finally, team time, right? Naturally, during team time, you have to be able to throw it. I always encourage that during at least one of your team times, you go off, you don't have a script for it. I think it's real easy to have scripts, right, all the time, and I think that there's something to that. But to me, having a time where you just have to, as a play caller, call the plays, right? And that way you just have to think them off the top of your head. Because here again, when were you going to call that pass play? Right? When do you feel that, hey, it's time for a pass play? The defense is coming up on that. Again, as it's mentioned here, need to have play action passes off the base run plays in your offense, right? So for us, inside veer, going to be some kind of play action pass off that. Rocket toss, it's going to be some kind of boot off that, which I don't have a lot of. Boot would be the opposite. We actually, and I'll show you one or two where we fake rocket, play side, and then we'll run some type of pass play over top of that. And then for us, it's kind of some kind of slot ISO, belly, whatever you want to call that play where you're faking a handoff to one of your other running backs. But again, just what does that look like? How can you perform that? And then what is the pass off of that? And as I mentioned, your pass rush must mirror your perimeter blocking schemes. That's so important. Don't just randomly have pass plays because you think it looks good or works or it was a spread concept if it doesn't really match up very well. I think you can have 3-step and 5-step passing game. Again, being a flex zone guy, there's definitely some run and shoot concepts there, right? And so there are some basic ideas on some passing game procedures in that. But again, make sure, because again, it's all about time. You only have a limited amount of time. What do you need to do? How can you have those routes look like your perimeter blocking schemes? So again, what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to show you two different pass blocking schemes that we use off of inside veer. The biggest decision needs to be based on the size and the ability of the B-back. If you have a fullback, right, who's going to fit up in your 6-man protection that is big and strong and can handle a defensive end and handle the defensive ends that you face, then by all means, this is the easiest one. We actually call this kind of just Peter or Paul blocking, or just we're going to block down away from the call. So again, here we're faking inside veer to the right, right? So the quarterback's hopping out, he's faking that mesh. The fullback is meshing up with that, and he's then kind of veering off to take the defensive end. And in this case, all of the linemen are just blocking down or back blocking to the left here, right? So you're just seeing that here in this diagram. They're all blocking to the left. They are responsible for a gap, not a man, right? And so again, that is kind of the easiest way. I was able to do this at one school because again, the D-ends and our B-backs were similar sized guys. It wasn't a big deal. Our B-back could go and handle that guy. Again, his aiming point there, he's going to scrape the paint off of that tackle's butt, right? He's going to scrape the paint, go inside out, almost kind of like a power, right? If you're running some kind of power and that's how you're blocking that. But again, that's the nuance there. You want these guys all firing out, again, with really low hats. Linemen are really coming off hard, coming down. Don't get downfield, right? But again, we're coming off hard and blocking at that first level. Quarterback, again, is hopping out right in that mesh and then getting in the steps for his drop after that. The next one then would be if you don't have that. So we kind of have what we call, it's kind of a half wall, half man side protection. This is, again, if your D-ends are a little bit bigger, all right, and your fullback isn't, he can't face that. So I've given you two diagrams here, but basically on the man side, the play side guard gets first man center out, right? So the first guy head up to the center, out towards him. The play side tackler gets second man center out. The wall side's pretty easy. They're basically doing the exact same thing we showed before, right? That's that kind of idea. You're just blocking, to your gap to the left or to the direction of the call. The quarterback and B-back will carry out the inside veer fake. It's shown to the right here. The B-back most immediate threat is inside out, right? So that's kind of where he's going. He's going to go block that most immediate threat inside out there. You can also use motion slot to insert off the edge as an extra blocker, right? So in this diagram here, right, you can see the call is to the right here, so you can see that the right guard, that's the first man from the center out. That's the second man from the center out, so they're blocking that. B-back's going to insert A gap to B gap to C, depending on where the threat is. Then over here, we've got an odd front defense here. So again, the first man center out, right, is this right guard going here to that nose guard. The right tackle's going there. In this case, the B-back most likely is probably going to get that defensive end, so it's going to kind of look like that other blocking scheme, but again, that's the most farthest away guy. You might wonder, like, what do these wall guys do if no one in their gap? One, we're always anticipating a blitz, right? Because again, you're selling runs, so in theory, those guys are coming up. I have seen centers help here, right? With just kind of that inside hand as they're looking then towards their gap. So what I have here is I've got some diagrams. We're going to talk through some of these. I think the first 5 here are going to be from our pup time, right? So this is going to be us going full bore here, pass. Again, people are really aggressive here, and you can kind of take a look at that. So again, you're going to see us faking a play here to the right. You're going to see our right guard getting first man from center out. Right tackle is getting second man from center out. And then these guys then on the backside are all walling, right? So here's the play. I believe we're faking rocket there, so it's just a fake rocket, and then throwing it out to the flat. Again, taking advantage of that flat just by our A-back here, running out there and getting out to it. All right, so that's what you're seeing there. So again, for us, I like to always see our guys get more aggressive, use our hands well. All right, man, we're firing off, giving those hard steps there. Don't just catch them. Keep moving your feet, and then you got it. So again, this is next one. This is off inside veer now, right? So we're running inside veer here. Same idea, fake. Now we're throwing a fade here to our big guy. All right, you can see the quarterback hop, sink, and he's going 1, 2, 3. He's set up, and he's just throwing up there. Again, for the linemen, again, you can see him walling off here on the backside. They keep moving around. I love how our left guard here is staying active because, again, in theory, he has this gap. There's no one there. There could be somebody coming hot off the edge in which they would just communicate that. Then the tackle would go out there. The guard would go right there, and then the center has that guy. So, again, you're pretty good here with six-man protection. Again, we will have our backside A-back fit up off the edge. Right? You can see that he's doing that there, getting that. Again, another play, inside veer. We're faking inside veer here. See you doing a good job again. Coming off. 72 is giving us a great look here on the backside of plays. Great example of why you got to use your hands and not just shove them, right? Our left guard just shoves him, but just keeps the play going. Our center is able to come back and help a little bit on that. And then on, again, the man side, you can see what they've got there. You know, always want to keep your shoulders square. Don't turn your shoulders. Right, my right guard there, I wanted him to keep his shoulders even more square, kind of stopping his feet, brother-in-law on each other a little bit. But again, you can see that idea. Here we got, so I've got a couple more here now, practicing a different location here. But we're going to also see an end zone shot, a real tight end zone shot, and then a sideline shot. You can see how the play is developing too. So here it is. This is with a nose guard. So you can see this is more of an odd front. You can see like a 4-0-4 here. So again, you're going to see the guard come down. He's got to block the nose guard. Tackle's going to block the second man from the center out, and these guys are all going to wall on the backside. You can see here the center's is picking up that blitzer in the A gap, working him around. Again, getting the ball out to the flat, putting it difficult on that outside linebacker to be able to handle that. But again, if you can't block it, it's not worth it. So here's what it looks like here from the sideline, right? So you can see again just the pass blocking. We'll talk more about the pass plays in a second, but just how the pass blocking works. You can see the wall side is down here at the bottom, right? This is your wall side. These guys are being aggressive, giving an aggressive look, putting that outside linebacker in a bind, so we're able to get the ball out into the flat. Now to the left, I like showing to the left just to show you what that looks like here, because again, guard's got the first guy center out, so he's got the nose guard. Tackle's got the second guy center out, so he's got it there. B-back's got to look A-gap and working his vision out. You can see that the other A-back's worked off the edge, because again, that safety thought we might be throwing it, so there. Good job by the quarterback, because again, going to the left off inside veer, he's got to flip the hips, right, and throw the ball. You can see this is going to be a wheel route that you're going to see get played out here. So he's going. You see the wheel, right? Throwing it quick to settle that thing down before that corner comes off. But again, you just kind of see how it fits, right? You can see the wall side at the top of the screen now, how they're just kind of walling and pushing guys up and away from the play, running them through. And then down on the bottom, they're being more aggressive coming out. See the tackle there. Again, want him to use his hands better. He's kind of just hitting, letting that guy bounce off and be aggressive there in his blocking. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at is specific to like pass plays and how we want to attack in certain ways. Now again, with the flex bone specifically, we're going to look at like what does that look like to attack behind the motion, right, or in front of the motion, or certain plays like I talked about on the field. And so we just have some plays and designed for that. Now again, however you want to call those, it doesn't really matter, however you want. But again, just figuring out ways that you can have specific concepts built in based on your blocking schemes on the perimeter to attack certain places that the defenses are going to give up. So here it is. We're playing here at home, and so we're going to attack behind the motion. We're going to throw a pass to this young man up here running a slant. So again, you're going to see with the safeties being this close, and we can sneak it in that window right there and catch that pass and get it going. All right. So again, from a pass play standpoint, great throw. That safety sitting there, he's read and run right all the way. You can see the window that's set up there. All right. Again, we got an idea. We want to make sure it's a great route by the wide receiver, and we got it figured out. So we'll see it from the end zone now. From this end zone shot, again, you got to be aggressive here. So our left guard, again, isn't aggressive enough, kind of gets ran over a little bit, does enough for what we needed here. But just so we understand, first guy center out there, second guy center out there. I mean, that's a good defensive end. He's going to go on and play some big-time college football. We can't let our little B-back take that guy on. And then we're going to wall through on the backside here. There it is. You can see the fit up. You're going to one step and throw that and just get in that window. All right. So this is when we'll get to the end zone shot. This is now a post though, so now we've maybe seen, so we're not condensed, right? We're not totally backed up or up into the end zone. And so now maybe with a one high safety or whatever the look is, we want to attack the post, right? And attack this corner. So same idea here. We're going to fake inside veer to the left. Quarterback's going to flip his hips, and he's going to just, again, put it out in a spot that he can catch it. I wish my wide receiver would have caught it right away, but he still makes a heck of a catch. Makes it a little harder than he need to be there, but you can see that, and he catches it. We'll show it from the end zone. You can see that these guys, again, are faking that inside veer to the left. They're running two high safeties, that backside safety. If he's this close, right, so that coach up in the booth is looking at that, and again, this young man, snap of the ball 10 yards away. They've got to be giving up something. In this case, they're giving up the backside post. They're giving up that backside seam. There's just no way that anyone's going to be able to cover this area. Just got to throw it over this guy. We always tell the receiver that it's his job to beat the corner. He's got to beat the corner. The quarterback will beat the safety by how he throws the football, but he's got to be able to beat the corner and how he is able to run his route. All right, so we flip the hips, throw it, put some air underneath it, and again, make a great catch there. So just so you can see it again, all right, again, understanding what we got here, these guys are giving us basically 2 threes, so pretty easy. First guy, second guy on the backside, right? They're going to wall this off. So let's see how we handle the pressure here. Great job by our center, right? Handling that guy blitzing in there. I love it that he kept his head up and saw it, right? Kudos to him to be able to handle that. A little high maybe in his pad level, but I thought he did a phenomenal job there handling that. Great job by our O-line coach coaching that up. All right, here's an example again of another backside post. This is against a one high safety look. So again, you can just see by alignment here that they are giving up. Again, if we can get it open, they've got to be giving up something over here in sense of that backside seam area or something on the backside away from motion. This is going to be off of that slot ISO fake, right? So again, this is 7-man protection, right? We're able to 7-man protect this slot ISO fake. Again, just throw that thing up there, let that guy go make a play, right? Go make a play. Again, he's getting press coverage. You'll see that sometimes. Again, but again, just his ability to stem that route, run it, throw it up there, because you're just asking that safety to do a lot of stuff. If he's supposed to be coming down hard, paying attention to the front side, now we're putting him on the back side of that. You can see it here from the end zone shot. Again, this is going to be kind of that half protection here. So we got man here, there. The fullback is now entering in. He's looking A, gap out. The slot ISO is pretty easy now. He's going in deep motion. He's coming through, and he's also fitting up in the protection from the outside. Got the fake. I'd like to see a little bit better fake there. But again, a great throw. Just putting it out there, letting that guy go make a catch and make a play. Here's another one. And again, the camera angle is a little lower here on a away game. But this is a backside dig. So again, if we have a real, and this young man was a very, very talented corner. Went on to play some big-time Division II football. But again, so we weren't going to be able to beat him deep, right? You weren't going to be able to beat him on a post. We're going to be able to beat him on a backside fade of any type. So the area that's given up here is going to be this backside dig, this backside hook to curl. And this is one that I'll admit I didn't do early in my career, and I should have, because again, it is a great way. Just teams leave this spot open because again, you have so many people running with motion. This guy's not dropping deep, right? They're coming over this way. It leaves up that backside dig spot open. So you can see it here. It's going to be a little tough from this angle because it's so tight. We'll show it, but he runs across, catch the ball. It takes a little bit of practice and working on the depth of that dig. People ask a lot about that. I'd say definitely no shallower than 10 You get any deeper than 15, it's going to be problematic because you want to basically run this in front of the safeties. So we just take a look here again. What this looks like, again, we're faking inside veer to the right. So there's the fake to the right. 1, 2, 3, step throw, getting a nice hard break. Again, you got to make it look like a fade, right? And so you can see this angle here. So you can see those two safeties there. Good, boom. See how he's running across? Right, he is running flat across. He's getting his eyes over here, the front side. Hit that dig coming right there, right? And again, his route, I wish it was a little flatter. It's not bad, right? But great job to settle right in that window, not run himself into coverage. Great job there, because that's hard. And that's hard for that safety to be able to guard that. Again, looking at just the protections here. Again, just another even front. So you can see the protection. They're there. Doing a great job. Great job on the wall side, just working these guys up and around, right? Working them up and around. It's hard sometimes when they're head up. So again, they got to kind of work together. Awesome job on the backside picking this up because they're bringing this guy off the edge, right? He's there. You can see how the guard worked over to get that guy center stayed with the two technique who kind of worked inside of that backside A-gap. So again, that takes practice, and that's why you got to have that pup time where you just get a lot of pressure, a lot of stuff so you can work through that. All right. Last one here, I believe, on the backsides away from motion. This is just a backside fade. So now sometimes you're just blessed. Maybe you got a tall receiver, or just you got that mismatch. You can do that. And again, if that safety is going to sit there, right, and not give it up, you can just be able to catch that, right? And so you can see that he just caught that, and I'll show it to you again. We'll get to a sideline shot so you can see it. Again, we're faking that play to the left. Boom, boom. All right, 1, 2, and set up and throw. And this is even later, and they kind of knew we were throwing it. But again, still, it's just hard when that guy is that close, right? When that safety is that close to the ball to be able for him to say, hey, we're going to go up there and be able to stop the run and then be able to come back and take the pass. So here you can see it from this angle. Faking that inside veer to the left, right? Again, good stem by the route. And I tell them, hey, we're not trying to overthrow anybody here, right? And that's even a little deep for us. Normally I tell them, hey, we're talking 25, maybe 30 yards, right? Especially if I've got a tall receiver, and this young man was tall, he was 6'5". So again, just had that opportunity. But I had a young man once, he was about 6'2". He was a great basketball player, great rebounder. I said, hey, just go and get a rebound, right? Just throw it him nice and high. Let that guy go make a play and get a rebound. And that's all we did here. Just let him go make a play and make that catch. All right, so the wheel route. So naturally the one you hear a lot, if like you're going to switch block the perimeter, right? And how you do that, and that means you're going to be cracking a lot, or you're going to be sending that A-back out to the flat to block the flat defender, then naturally you're going to have some kind of wheel. The wheel can be sometimes the most open route, but sometimes the most difficult to throw route. It just takes some practice because, again, just learning how to settle that route down. So you'll see it here. We're going to be faking the play down here to the bottom of the screen. You'll see this guy running his wheel. Does a good job catching in traffic here. But again, same idea. Got to be able to attack that. Because again, if they're in man here and this guy, you can see this corner's ran with him, again, they've vacated that area, right? They've left that area open. Now you're expecting, again, you're asking a linebacker or a safety who is trying to play man to now have to come back and get this. Again, great job by number 30 there to be able to make that catch. All right, but again, you can just see it. Boom. Again, he's taking that guy, getting a nice little rub there, just putting it up there, let him go make a play and make a great catch there. So from the end zone shot, again, you can see same thing on how we're protecting this. Right, good job by the wall side here to be able to handle with that guy spiking into the A-gap, right, and then working through. And you just see that throw. Again, I always tell my guys that we're running a fade route or running a wheel, right, we want to run this through this fade zone, but don't get too close to the sideline, right? It's like my golf game, the farther away I get, or the smaller the green, it's harder to hit. So I want him to run this and let the ball kind of carry us over there and try to catch that as best as we can on the outside shoulder. I always like to see guys high point the ball and jump up and go get it as well. Here's another one. Again, you'll see the end zone shot first here. Great example, again, of that 7-man protection. So you're going to see, just so we're looking here, this is the first guy center out. Here's the second. This guy's coming hot off the edge. The B-back steps in here, still looking inside out. Your backside A-back, right, is also coming and fitting in this protection over here. And that's who's going to help take care of that defensive end. Which makes sense because that young man's probably been taught, don't let anyone get outside of you, right? You need to play the pitch, etc. So again, this is going to allow him naturally to go and basically tackle, right, or get blocked by our extra guy in the protection. So there it is. Great job just airing that thing out, catching that ball. He got a little close to the sideline, but a great catch as we were going in to score here. So watching it from here, again, he could have thrown it a little tighter, and that's the hardest thing about that wheel route is what kind of ball do you throw here, right? If you're a 1, 2, 3 ball kind of guy, in my mind, this doesn't always need to be a 3 ball where you put so much air under it. You can fire this thing. He's open right now. He runs too much. He's going to run himself into coverage, and so he could throw this thing as basically a 2 ball, right, and put that right over the, the head of the linebackers and fit that thing in there, and that would be helpful. But he puts a little too much air under it, but great play by 6 to make the catch and get his feet in bounds. Great job here. Again, these guys are bringing a lot. Very athletic team we were playing. Need to be a better job by my wall side. See how he's not giving up enough ground there on the wall side to be able to really be able to handle number 16. So just again something to be able to look at. But great job finishing, great catch. The seam route, right? So the seam route is kind of the next one, and there's a lot of ways to hit the seam. The most natural way that you see us hit the seam is going to be by that play side A-back as he's screaming down with the safeties rolling up. But you can also hit the outside fade. That's another way to hit it. And so we'll show you some of those and how we run that. So here, these are against 2 highs. You can do it 1. Sometimes 1's even easier, but I wanted to show you against 2 high. Again, here, safety's sitting there. And normally I just tell them, and we will practice this, the A-back and the quarterback are reading this safety. If that safety stays flat-footed, right, if he does not go forward, we're going by him, right? We're going to go run right by him. Now, if he bails out, if he bails way out, or if they play a game where he runs in and this young man screams over the top, they'll learn to settle. I don't have any clips right now of them settling, but over my years, I definitely had A-backs who were very good at this, and they would just run and they'd settle down. Again, approximately about that 10-yard area. Don't get any closer because the linebackers will be in the way. And again, you can be really efficient at this and really almost make it almost impossible to defend. But again, these are some clips, again, just him running by, right, and just floating that ball up there and making the catch. One interesting note, if I could just personnel-wise, for us, our wings, right, or these slots, whatever you want to call those guys, I have found that the baseball guys are really good at this, right? They're the ones who can catch the ball really well. Those outfielders that can track it over their shoulder, that's a really good spot for them. I mean, yes, the faster, more athletic they are, the better too. But sometimes I've just found that, again, I've seen guys who are great straight line speed guys, but weren't always good at catching the ball. But some of that times those baseball guys who's maybe a little slower, just because maybe they're not the track guy, but they can definitely go and catch that ball over the shoulder and make some great plays. Also, I normally tell them they've got to angle this out, right? Got to angle it out and make it look like we're arcing out to block that guy. And then again, if he runs out, cut right underneath him like he did, but keep working wide, and a great catch there by number 6. From the end zone here, again, you can see it. Just a classic 3-4. You can see how they're blocking here. Fit up pretty well. Backside A-back does a good job. Like him to keep his helmet inside, but did a great job. And then on the wall side, working. Again, they just have to anticipate that this guy is probably coming, right? So it's very hard. This left tackle wants to just block this guy, but he's got to understand that guy's probably blitzing or coming on the play action look because we're selling the run. So he's going to block out there. Your tackle's going to block there, or your guard's going to block there, and then your center's got that A gap, which also can be challenging with that nose guard there. And that's why just a lot of communication and that pup time is so valuable to do that. Here's another one again, too high. You can see how they're rotating this down. See this other safety's coming over the top, but again, he's staying so flat-footed. You can run right on by that. And so it just almost stealing at this point, right? Can't throw it to him quick enough. And that's how it is there. Again, another odd front. You see a lot of that with too high. Again, you can kind of see he's in the gap now, but again, we're going to go there and there. Walling on the backside. Great job here anticipating by this tackle. He's not just going and blocking that guy. He's anticipating that guy's coming across. He's not looping all the way through and sawing it out to the seam. All right. So again, this is off a different play now, faking some rocket action here. So this is to the front side on the rocket, right? So again, you can see same thing with two safeties here. And again, that other young man he's just running straight across. If that safety's running straight across, and again, please understand, the teams you're seeing here, we're playing some really athletic players. And these guys are more athletic than my guys. I'm just being honest with that. But again, if he's running straight across, it's very hard. As long as we lead him, right? This is where you can put a little air under and go lead him. And it's tough to teach quarterbacks that because they want to throw at him. I always try to encourage my quarterbacks, throw him open, right? Throw him open. Don't just sit there and throw where he's at. Throw him open, lead him a little bit. And again, quarterback did a good job here, just throwing it up there, leading him, right? And he's able to make the catch. So again, faking off rocket here, all right, stepping out, great job. Just so you can see the route concepts in general here, you can see that I got this guy running out like he's going to go, right, run block, but he's then settling down. So if these guys all did bail out, he'd be open. And I've had some upper level quarterbacks who can see that and not just feel like they have to throw the seam as they're reading the safety, but that's just what's going on there. And even on the backside, and I've thrown this on the backside as well. So you can see it again. From the end zone, you can see that man side over here, right? How they're blocking that center, or that guard's blocking first man center out, tackle's blocking second man center out. And the backside, you can see they're all walling over here, anticipating that that guy might be coming off the edge. They do a great job. See how my tackle, again, it just takes practice, right? Because he's going to be really enticed by that guy over top of him. But again, you can set that up and work through that and just throw that thing up there and again, make that catch. Another way to do this, and again, the more comfortable you feel in your offense and to use different formations. So we would reduce the formation, right? We'd bring our wide receivers in and bring them in tighter looks. We would do this sometimes when we wanted to run rocket or other plays and get on the perimeter. But again, I found that this causes a lot of problems for teams and how they want to defend that. Because again, as you can see here, these guys are giving us a too high shell. They're more of a 4-3 team. They've dropped their middle linebacker down as a nose guard right here. So it's almost like a 5-2. But you can see he's really close. So that safety is almost lined up over him. You see this corner, he's not really sure who to defend, right? Because he's brought him in so tight. And we're going to run this guy on a seam now on the front side of a play. Again, off a rocket look. So we're faking the rocket here, which is naturally a play that we like to run off this. You can see these guys all running forward, but you can see we've got that corner beat by alignment, right? That corner is beaten by alignment because, again, we are way inside. He is way outside. So if we run a seam literally straight down the hash here, again, this puts this in a very difficult position if that young man's been taught at all to come up and stop the run, stop the rocket, and be somehow involved in that. It's very difficult for him, this backside safety. Again, it's all about his angle. He'd have to literally be running way back to be able to try to get involved in stopping this play. Again, he's pretty flat-footed there. Just throw it up, go make a catch. And so, again, great job here by our guys executing this play. But again, just by formation now, pretty simple, nothing fancy, but by moving them in, put that corner in a really weird spot. Not exactly sure how to defend that and take a look at that. Here it is from the end zone again. This was a 4-3 team that would just take their mic and put him down as a nose guard. But again, so this is pretty, and there's a lot of guys coming here, right? So great job here. Our center gets a little too handsy on the nose guard, but he comes back off and goes to get number 53, right? You can see again. I can see what we did here. Great. This is a great one. So here, my quarterback, because he felt there was so much pressure, would have called what I would call all down blocks, right? That first blocking scheme that we didn't mention. So if he felt that there was so much, we gave them the opportunity to change the protection. And so he would make a call, right? So in this case, he's making a call that's going to have everyone go and block down. So again, you're going to see us going all blocking down here. All right. So you can see these guys are all going to work to their gap, right? And you're going to see the B back then work off the edge. And then the backside guy fitting up there too. So let's see how it looks. Boom. You can see them all going down. Again, my center got a little handsy there. He didn't need to do that. He could have stepped there a little bit, right? But you can see how that's fitting up there and providing that protection. And again, the goal here, guys, is to get that pass off in a couple seconds. We're not asking for, your 3 or 4, 5, 6 seconds of protection. We're making this quick. And again, just working through that timing of that. Nice work. All right. So kind of the last thing I want to leave you with is what I call odds and ends. So these are just different things that you can do. Guys, there's a lot of them. There's some great screen games you can run. I'm not going to show, I'm going to show you one real quick one, but there's just a lot of different things that you can do on kind of some different ways to really mess with teams as you're just being able to throw the ball. And again, some of this is not going to be year 1 stuff, right? This might be year 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and definitely our passing game and kind of the intricacies of it have expanded as we've done things. So here's one. This is just another way of formationally that we mess with people. But basically what we've done here is we have a wide receiver here, all right? We have a tackle, a guard, a center, guard, tackle, a tight end, right? So we saw in this game, again, that they were struggling to guard when we came and reduced guys down. So we put him as a tight end. We're going to fake a run play over here. You can see there's a lot of space around the H because, again, just how they're playing with those safeties being spread out so wide. And, again, that corner, not exactly sure who to guard now because, in theory, that's 1 and that's 2, right, in that count for the defense. So, again, you're going to see it. Play fake, boom. Man, just tell him to run inside. He just ran that basically like a real skinny post. But, again, there's no one there. And you can see it. Number 5 would probably be the guy who's supposed to guard that, but what's he focused on? He's focused on the run, right? And, again, him hopping up and down like that, that's enough time for our guy to get behind him and be able to run that route and catch that ball in the back of the end zone, all right? So you can see it here as well. Again, we went there and all blocked down, make it easier for our guys because we weren't sure how we wanted to do it. We even max protect this, it looked like, which if I remember correctly, I did this off a timeout because we saw how they aligned to this, and so we literally made this almost just a route for this tight end. And so you can see here, and he just has to run. And again, that safety's so far out. Just run, get inside, and put it up high, nice and high, because he was a tall young man. He was able to work. All right. So here's another one. This is another way to get, if you see the corners are really far off the ball here, right? And again, they're rotating their safeties that these guys were. Man, this is just a simple naked screen that we'll throw, where we literally would just throw it right away out as fast as we can out to the flat. All right. Get that guy out there, one stiff arm, and he can be off to the races, all right? And so that's all it takes. And again, if I've had taller wide receivers out there or bigger, stronger kids, maybe they were kind of glorified tackles out there, this is an easy way. Because again, if they're giving you a ton of cushion here, all right, this guy's giving you almost 8 yards of cushion, right? And he's not coming forward to the snap, he's backpedaling. Well, by now, we've thrown the ball, he's almost at 10 yards, we catch the ball. Again, I've always thought this is an easy way. If I can get 4, it's just an extension of the run game. Again, biggest thing is making sure the wide receiver knows to go out, right? Because again, the defensive help's coming from the inside. So just go out and it should be set. And again, normally I just tell them, hey, give me one good stiff arm. If you give me one good stiff arm, hold on to the ball, and you're going to get some yards. In this case, we were able to get a touchdown, which again made that guy's day because he's not the biggest gazelle. Doesn't run like a gazelle much there. So that kind of made his day there. And let's see. I got you just a closer up view of that just so you can see what it looks like there. All right, kind of another one here. And what this looks like, we would formationally do some weird things here. So off of Rocket, if you're a big, flex bone guy, normally the fullback will go opposite, right? So we personnel sub this in here. Just a play where my A-back, my slot would go and put his hand in the dirt, and the B-back would come and stand up here as an A-back, and then we would just run him on a rod off the back. So he'd just run, because again, you can see they were just moving so much and shifting so much that he just run out the back, and we just dropped it off, almost kind of like a screen out to him, that he would just go and look, and actually we were able to score a touchdown here. Kind of unexpected. That wasn't the point. It was 3rd and long. I was just going to my bag of tricks here and was able to get one. Ultimately, I wish this guy would have ran wider. It would have been easier for him. But again, he made a nice catch. It redirected. He was able to get that ball and get that. You can see it from the end zone. So the pass blocking is still the same. Nothing's changed there. If anything, it looks like we might have went the wrong way in our protection. Should have been the other way. But we're able to get away with one there. And again, sometimes you just got to do that to be able to call that and call it at the right time. I'm not always a big fan of throwing it on 3rd and long because they kind of know that. But this is one we were able to do a play that we hadn't shown them yet. So again, guys, thanks so much for allowing me to speak to you a little bit about the passing game and a run-oriented offense. Just kind of how to spread the ball around the field. Again, if there's anything I can tell you, have a few concepts that attack those spots that the defenses are giving up, and then figuring out when you feel comfortable calling those is so important. My contact information is there. I'm always willing to help. If there's anything you ever need, just please let me know. And again, thank you so much to Chief Pigskin for allowing me this opportunity to share with you guys today. And again, I wish you guys the best this upcoming football season.